This video was made possible thanks to the EA Creators Network. Thank you to EA for giving me a copy of the pack early. Two things really quickly before we jump into this speed build. Firstly, if you're planning on getting the new expansion pack, you can still use my creator code on the EA app. It doesn't cost you anything, it's just pretty much a free way to help support me and my channel and all the builds that I make, as I do earn a small commission fee from your purchase. A really big thank you to everyone that has used my code in the past, or if you're planning on using it in the future. It is just really kind of you to use my code when you buy your Sims packs, and so really big thank you. But secondly, thanks to the EA Creator Network, I am hosting a giveaway for a copy of the new Enchanted By Nature expansion pack for PC and Mac. Now, if you do want to enter, all you've got to do is comment down below anything that you fancy. It could be maybe a future build idea that you fancy me doing, or if you want to, you could just pop a nice little emoji down there. But then pop me a message on Instagram with your YouTube handle, so if you do win, I can message you your code. The giveaway is going to close on Friday the 18th of July, so you've got around about a week to participate in it if you do fancy, maybe entering the giveaway. But also the way that I will select the winner will just be completely random, so don't worry about leaving like an extravagant comment or something like that. But because I have mentioned all of this, I did just want to say that this section of the video is sponsored by the EA Creators Network. But anyway, let's get into the speed build. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my Sims 4 speedbuilding video, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. So in today's video, I'm going to be building in the brand new world of Innisgreen, which is the brand new world from the latest expansion pack, which came out just yesterday, the Sims 4 Enchanted By Nature DLC. And I'm going to be building a fairy starter home using a single sim starting budget. So this house ends up having 1 bedroom and 1.5 bathrooms, and I believe it's built on a 20 by 20 lot. If that's incorrect, I'll have it in the build details in the description box down below. But I think I am building on one of the coolest lots that we now have in the game, because the lot that I'm building on is basically in a tree trunk. Now, when I first got my hands on the Enchanted By Nature expansion pack and I just had a little nosy about the world and all the different lots that we've got, I just instantly fell in love with this one particular lot, which by default, when you enter a brand new save file, there is already a starter home built on this lot. But I just thought that this was just such a perfect setting to build my own little fairy starter home using the default funds in the game. And so that is pretty much exactly what I did, and I really hope you guys like it. But anyway, moving on from that and getting on and talking a little bit more about the build itself and also what I'm doing right now. So this is now my third build with the brand new expansion pack. In case you guys have missed it, so far I have built a fairy castle in the woods. I also have built a storybook fairy cottage in more like the countryside area. But I thought, when a brand new expansion pack comes out, me personally, I like to start off with a single sim that has the default budget, and then I like to kind of experience the expansion pack and all that it's got to offer as time goes on. And me personally, I like to just move into a starter home and not cheat the money. And so I thought, well, I've built a family home with the new expansion pack, a family castle if you want to put it that way. I have also built something for a single sim, but also something that also could be really handy for a lot of people is to build a little starter home. And so that is what this build is. And I'm not gonna lie to you, out of the 3 builds that I have done, this by far took the longest to achieve. Now, I know it probably doesn't look like it because it's quite a relatively snuggly small sized house. I didn't want to be over the top. It's a starter home, gotta be humble and stuff. And so I didn't want to be building a massive house for your sim to start off with. But when it came around to building a starter home with the new expansion pack, I had the biggest mare, and in total it took me 2.5 days to figure out how to build a starter home with the new DLC. Because the thing is, the Enchanted By Nature expansion pack, it has got so many different beautiful build and buy items, beautiful furniture pieces. We've got lovely new windows and wallpapers and fences and all sorts. Just so expensive. And so when it came around to building a starter home, I honestly must have built about 7-8 different houses, and I was getting through them, and then I was looking at them and I was thinking, I don't actually like this, And I don't want to post this because I don't like it myself. And if I don't like it, you're probably not going to end up liking it either. And so the amount of different times that, yeah, I came into the game, I started building, and I'd either run out of money or I was just hating what I was doing and I just bulldozed it. And so, yeah, in total, this took me pretty much the whole weekend plus a bit of my Friday as well, like 2.5 days to build this little starter home, which I feel like it doesn't probably look like much, but for this new expansion pack, I just wanted to have a really like magical place for your Sims to start off in. Now, like I've already mentioned, it ends up having 1 bedroom and 1.5 bathrooms, but if you want to, there is plenty of space to add a 2nd bedroom if you do fancy. You can see the way that I kind of like structured the build. It's built on 3 levels. That very top floor that's kind of got like a little balcony, and it's got almost like some red wisteria, I think it is, hanging off it. That ends up being completely empty in the end, which sounds really bad, but the thing is, when I was building this, once I actually got going and I was starting to like this one, I didn't bulldoze it, I was thinking, no, it's actually really nice. I actually really am loving this. And then I was thinking, okay, well, I might just make this for my save file, because if you guys, you might be aware, you might not be, I feel like I bang on about in every single video, but I am currently in the process of pretty much rebuilding the whole entire Sims 4. And with that, I'm rebuilding every single lot, every single community lot, remaking every single household, giving the existing households makeovers. I'm literally giving The Sims 4 a complete facelift. But in doing that, it takes such a long time. And so coming into this build, I was thinking, okay, but I would also like to potentially end up using this for my save. And so the way that I ended up approaching the inside, it's livable. It's humble though. Now, in case you've never seen any of my starter builds before, typically the way that I approach a starter house in the game is I'll come in, I'll build the main structure for you. So, you know, you've got your foundation, you've got your walls, you've got your windows, you've got a floor plan laid out. But then on the inside, I typically only like to have it so you've got your kitchen counters, you've got your fridge, you've got your oven, you've got your bathroom stuff. But then in terms of like decorations, I'm not a massive fan in starter homes of placing them down, because in my head I'm trying to make my save as realistic as possible. And realistically, if you're someone that moves into a little house, you're not gonna move into, unless you're renting and you're buying somewhere that's, you know, partly furnished or something, but realistically you're not going to move into somewhere and, you know, pack up your fridge and stuff. And so the way that I approach starter homes, I like to give you the bare essentials that are kind of like built-in appliances. And the idea is I leave you some money and then you can kind of like pick and choose your own decorations. That's kind of like the strategy that I've gone for the majority of the starter homes that I've built for my save file so far. However, coming into this build, that wasn't necessarily the approach that I wanted to go for. Like, I did really want to build a fully furnished starter home, but yeah, I just had an absolute headache with just how expensive some of the new items are. And so the way that it's decorated on the inside, you've got a kitchen, you've got an oven, you've got a sink, you've got a little sink area. Downstairs by the front door, you have got a half bathroom, a toilet and a sink are in there. And then downstairs in like the seating, lounge, dining area, there is a sofa. It's a base game one though. Apologies, I was running out of funds. But there is a sofa and there is also a fireplace. Upstairs there is a full like bathroom. We've got a bathtub, a sink and a toilet. And then in the bedroom there is a double bed, but also a mirror. But that is pretty much it in terms of the furnishings. But in my defence, kind of like it, because in that way you can download this build off the gallery and just really make it your own as time goes on. And personally, I would rather move into a house that looks nicer, and then over time as your Sims grow and they discover all these different things that they like and you get all these different hobbies and all these different interests, you can kind of adapt the build around it. Also, just remember that I did also place down the apothecary table in this build as well. So if you really want to, you know, jump straight into the game, you've just created your little fairy and cash, you know, got their outfits, got their wings on, and you want to move into a starter home with the starting funds, you can sleep in the bed, you can use either toilets, because like I said, this starter home has 2 toilets, which I was actually quite impressed I was able to do that. But it does have 2 toilets. It's got a kitchen area. You have got a settee to sit on of an evening. But then also, you've got the table, the apothecary table. So if your Sims want to, they can start making all these different medicines and potions and stuff and eventually sell them. And then slowly but surely, you can then add and change things about the house. I really like the way that I kind of like structured it, because realistically, if you really wanted to save some money, you could delete some of the staircases on the outside and make it so there isn't like an upstairs portion. But I liked the idea of eventually in gameplay, maybe your Sims want to get some planters and they want to start maybe like a little herb garden or something, and you can pop it upstairs on the balcony. Also, thinking about it, if you wanted to, you could also just have more members of a household, because I built this, like all of my starter homes, to be for a single Sim starting budget, which by default is 20,000 simoleons. By the time I got my little like starting Sim to move into this lot, the lot value itself was 500 simoleons. So I built this house with 19,500 simoleons, and I purposely left it so you've got a little bit of money left over. You've still got enough money to make yourself garden salad or grilled cheese, whatever your preference is. I think off memory you have around about 20 odd quid, or like 23 simoleons or something like that. So first night dinner sorted, second night you might have to go forage for something, but I like it. It kind of ties in with the expansion pack. But either way, you can see that I have pretty much just finished up the exterior. I'm just making some final details to it. I completely spoke over the whole entire like landscaping of this build. I'm so sorry. I was kind of wanting to explain the inside of this build, which you can now see that I've actually now moved on into. Also, something that I've noticed, some of the wallpaper prices from this new expansion pack, they cost a pretty penny. Like there is this one, which is like a mossy one. Wanted to use it, 14 simoleons per tile. You having a laugh? 14 simoleons. And also at one point, I was trying to use the new doors that we got from the expansion pack as like the interior doors. Beautiful kind of like semicircle at the top. They cost like 160 simoleons per door. I placed down 3 in the build. When I came in, I started doing the flooring and the wallpaper, and I was looking at it, I was thinking, am I all right? No. Remove that and change it to be another door. And so, yeah, I just swapped it out for a nice little humble 40 simoleon base game door instead, which saved quite a lot of money, I must admit. But you can see that in the furnishing. I've already done the downstairs bathroom, very humble down there. I use a base game toilet, but it's one that your Sims can make using the woodworking table, and I also use the same toilet on the upstairs bathroom as well, and also the bathtub. That is one that your Sims can make via the woodworking table, but you can find it if you have the debug cheat enabled. And so yeah, I popped that down up for the bathroom. The bed, I really wanted to use a new bed from the expansion pack, but it was just so expensive, and so I didn't give you the worst bed, but it's not the most attractive bed, but at least your Sims have somewhere to sleep. Although saying this, fairies can quite literally just sleep on the floor now, but I wanted to give you an option. But either way, I'm pretty much going to run around this build, finish it off by trying to just make it as livable as possible, and that is pretty much it. So anyway guys, I'm going to end this voiceover right here. This build won't be on the gallery right now because I know the expansion pack just came out yesterday, but I'm currently away on a trip, and so as soon as I'm home, I'm going to pop all of my builds onto the gallery so you guys can download. But if you're curious, my gallery ID is JessicapieYT, or you can just find my builds by searching for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, if you do like my content, then please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speedrunning video. Bye guys.